Faster. Better. The SURGESURF factory. Keep your eye out for Whiz while you're here. Let's see. Nothing like a story with an unexpected ending. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Whiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A SURGESURF factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The power comes from turning the movement of the surf into surge sparks. Sometimes science is beyond belief. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. Whiz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Whiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Whiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Whiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. They've been here for you since you were a kidling, but when you left, you also chose to distance yourself from everyone that cared for you. Whiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Looper Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history, he feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay. Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Maybe that's true for you, but he's not so sure about his own fate. Sad that the world is close to death. Wonders if he might be able to hold out a bit longer in an octopod. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Fascinated you wound up working with the Jagni. He thinks of them not as makers, but takers. Just wishes they'd collect their own things instead of taking them from others. But that's not nearly as important as this. Whiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths, but there's something else down there too, gnawing at the tree of life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-going. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha fingro in the MEKASTADIUM that still has one stuck on its back. Find it. It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxanol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. The night feels dangerous and exciting. Don't want to point a finger, but the MEKASTADIUM is near here. Tap hard. Crackers out. Lockety-locked. The plague that's ruining the land needs to be stopped. Ooh-wee, that's bio. You need to line up the switches so they match. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too.
trick?
He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. He agrees that it's an option if you want to break stuff, but in this case you want to keep things intact, so it won't leak once you get under surf. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Chu-Chu always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease. Whiz heard he's currently stranded at the end of the line, so it should be easier to track him down now compared to when he's running rails. The light of day shows how bad the world has become. Plastic scrap like that over there could be useful. Well, looky there. A broke-down home. Might still be worth poking around. Making great progress. All things end. We're all heroes of our own stories, or so we hope. need to get the keys in sequence. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Sometimes no message is a message. You need to get the keys in sequence. So, the technology from yesterday's is still here today, even if its message is getting old. This one seems to be in good spirits, despite being... Asks you to... This mount has quite a bounce to it. That's Punchy's place up in that little blimp. No better upgrade bench around. Let's see. The vendor says you... You've reached the end of the line. Bet you can find Chu-Chu here. Let's see. Chu-Chu knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could, likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Feels like the world's on a runaway chug straight over a cliff. Can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn the world chug around. Thinks you shouldn't work with the Jagni. They once tried to bolt one of their masks to his face. And it hurt, but he kept the mask, just in case. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Chu-Chu. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive, thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wingnut to get back on track. Wingnuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugger-chugger out there. The challenge is taking them off, so he's happy. Says he knew you would, like he knows the way the rails run. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. New days always start with hope. Wonder what you could make with that. Wheel the control box handles to buzz the wire. Wired up and ready to go. Nice pants. The WINGNUT Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. What do you think of this place? cut. Chilling. Was that lightning? Chu-Chu says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason, but he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart. It's on the cart. He wants to keep it close by. In general, you won't have much time to act in case of an emergency. Chu-Chu says you should help yourself to the grease sprinkler. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste. He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open. Says he's glad to see it in good hands, rough as they might be. Chu-Chu says he can't wait to get out of this place. Says you'll meet again. You should... Chu-Chu. He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's witnessed it himself. Says fate is... Chu-Chu's thrilled you found the Ark. Just needs no rail, with the world ending and all. Says he's happy to see the Ark. Wonders who you might call...
So, what we have...
Why? You don't need...
If you want to go...
But you know you...
After spending a life on the rails, he's... Chu-Chu says he's ready to pack up and leave. Says you should take care.